who had no idea who Perrin Mitchell was. And I don't blame them. I blame us, those of us who are older, a generation that has the responsibility to pass on that information to a new generation. Malcolm X literally saved my life. I tell people this all the time. And
all right, now.
Malcolm X, I would not be here today.
Thank you. And let me, Dr. Jarmon, as a CEO of one of the nation's largest African-American museums, tell us, how has FACAM, I believe it's the way we say it, right, has made a difference in the community. And tell us, why it's so important, and how are you being, affected by what's going on with these attacks on, Black history?
Yes, ma'am. So one of the ways that we've made a difference, and it's just coming to light, is Africans, we have been in this United States.
Hold on. Somebody, hey, stop speaking. Please put your phone on mute, everybody.
And Carl, you may want to mute your phone, Carl. I think that's the Blue Angels flying over.
Yes,
right.
Thank you.
Okay. All righty. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Dr. Jarmon. Ms. Jarmon.
Okay. We have been, as African descendants, in this part of the country since the early 1500s. So when you look at people in this region and you start unpacking the term Hispanic, what that means, are you Spanish? Are you indigenous? Are you Mexican? Most of the people that claim indigeneity have African roots. When you live in an area where you see the caste and class system really at play, and that's what you see in San Antonio, the folks that look more white, it's no different than us, right? The folks that look more white tend to feel like they are more right. Well, what we're seeing now is people that may not look traditionally African are coming out saying, for instance, the rose window, which is what our city logo is, was actually created by a mulatto man. That's what the Spanish called them. And, the original Canary Islanders that founded San Antonio, I'm the one that asked the question, excuse me, where are the Canary Islands? Do you all know? So we're bringing out this rich history that, we have been here. Like Dr. Whitehead said, you can't talk about history without talking about African descendants. This is not just American history, it's global history. So we're able to actually, when you talk about history in its rightful place, you can unite people. And that's what we're trying to do here at FACAM. Our stories are all a part of each other. You can't talk about history without talking about us as people, as Black people here in this country, as African descendants. And so we are beating that drum here in San Antonio loud and proud. People don't think about African descendants when they come to San Antonio. They just think about Spanish or Mexican. Well, we're here, and we've been here for over 300 years. For over 500 years, since the 1500s. So we're telling that story. I will say we've only been around for 7 years, and we were founded because of the 300th anniversary of San Antonio. There was very little mention of African descendants. And our founders, George Frederick and Everett Fly, said, no, this won't work. And so they worked with the University of North Carolina, of all places, and the Mellon Foundation to get a grant to create a community archive. The community was a little slow at first, honestly. One, because we don't have this sense of who we are. As the congressman said, it's our fault. We have not taught our history effectively. We can't depend on someone else to do it. We have to do it. So they didn't understand the importance of those church programs in the back, so we can create the story, in their garage or in a box, so we can really start unpacking the story of how we've been effective. And we want to be a model. We don't want to just do this in San Antonio. We want to empower the nation to pull those things out, the yearbooks, the report cards, the church programs, the funeral programs, all of that, the black newspapers, so we can be stewards of our own history. If you want to be on the wall, you got to own the wall. And how we've been able to galvanize the community at this point is the same as we did for the Blacksonian. The difference is we're not partially government funded. Every penny that we get has to come from the community. And we're literally looking at pennies. It doesn't matter. We have a $50 million raise. We're going to get there. But it's going to take all of us. And again, I appreciate this opportunity, but I hope people hear me from all across the country. We need to do this in our communities all across the country. And so many great resources like Dr. Whitehead that are available for us to do this. We have to take matters in our own hands. I hope I answered your question, Sister Barbara.
Yes.
Very much so.
Yeah, I thought it was wonderful.
I would like to add, with respect to having institutions, this is Senator Michael Bowen Mitchell. My late grandmother, Lily Mae Carroll Jackson, a freedom fighter. There's the Lily Mae Carroll Jackson Civil Rights Museum in Baltimore City, which is administered by Morgan State University, that does that, brings in school children and others to make sure that we don't forget those people who were a part of Freedom's Army, those who were the foot soldiers to make all of these incredible gains. Dr. Whitehead, you were instrumental in bringing the opening of this museum about, because you gave a sterling rendition of and history for the video introduction of this museum, and we'll be forever indebted to you for that. I think it is incumbent upon us, and Carl Snowden, I want to thank you on behalf of the Mitchell family. Karen Mitchell was born the youngest of 10 children. He went to Douglas High School and then was drafted in World War II and then ended up in North Africa, where he was the first black to be awarded a Purple Heart by Patton in their efforts to defeat Rommel in North Africa. And more importantly, the family wants to thank you for giving this recognition, because if we can in some way pierce the conscience of our young people and let them know that they are special, that God has given them so many incredible talents, that they just have to use them, and we have to undergird our young people. And Carl, thank you for making that possible, because this monument is going to be in an incredible location where there are young people and citizens coming in and out of the facility where it abuts on a regular basis. Also, I've got to add about my father, Clarence Mitchell Jr., who was known as the 101st Senator, but he again was the oldest of 10 who worked several jobs, but more importantly ended up was born in an alley, but ended up becoming advisor to presidents. God is within this whole movement, and that's why I said that Trump is just one of those old kinds of characters that you see in biblical stories, where you can get rid of them from time to time, and God has a way that is more powerful to cause them to go down on their own petards. I must give a acknowledgement to what we do to bring in more people to acknowledge our history, and we must, and the brothers are just as guilty sometimes, we must acknowledge young women in our midst. And we cannot put any kind of glass ceilings on young black women. Allow them to charge ahead and do what they need to do to make a difference in this effort, that united with their efforts, we can make a difference. I'm going to close with this. Karen Mitchell said some years ago. And before closing, there's a young woman who is the executive director of the Clarence and Wendy Mitchell Foundation. Her name is Laquan Partiba Carley. And I give her acknowledgement to her because she has a business known as the Verve Consultants that was working on small businesses in government and was inspired by Congressman Parent Mitchell to open her business so that she can assist other women and other minorities in getting their share of government work. You've got to remember that we can still get the business, we just got to fight for it. And that coming these midterm elections, we're going to see a sea change. And so make sure you get registered to vote, spread the word, and do everything within your power to get people out to make a difference. You can do it.
All right. Thank you so much, Senator Mitchell. Dr. K, are you still with us?
I'm still with you. I've enjoyed the discussion.
You're amazing. Thank you for hanging in here. I know that you got a pressing engagement. Tell us, in your remarks, I want you to let our audience know right now what ASALH wants everyone to do. And please tell people how they can join ASALH. Because, folks, it's open for your membership. You don't have to be a big historian, PhD, MA or whatever. You just got to care about our history and preserving it. Right, Dr. K?
Absolutely right, Barbara. I often tell people that they're actually already a member of ASALH. I just need their new updated email address, and I need them to pay their dues. You were born into ASALH because you are a Black person in this country. ASALH is a part of who we are. One of the interesting things about Dr. Carter G. Woodson is Dr. Carter G. Woodson was very clear that our history has to be told. It has to be taught. It has to be shared. That we are the living embodiment of our history. And when we don't hold up the historical narrative, it gets created around us. When I think about 47, I tell people the enemies of the work we're doing, they are not born, they're made. Those of us who did not do the work to make sure that didn't happen, these are enemies that are made because people have forgotten their history and people are not doing the work that we were sent here to do, which is to hold up the barrier, which is to hold up and monitor what is happening in this country. Our job is not just to teach Black history, not just to live Black history, not just to be Black history. At this point, we are what's standing between complete authoritarianism and democracy. It is our history that's the fabric that's helping us to resist what's happening. We have to understand we have to teach our history so that people will understand the humanity that's present in democracy, the importance of democracy, and how democracy became what it is. We are at risk of losing much more than just our historical narrative. We are at risk of losing the very foundation of what this country is built on. I make the argument that it's collapsing before us, and maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing because January 19th, things weren't great for Black folks in this country either. So let's not go back to what we used to have. If we're going to tear it all down, let's reimagine it into something better where Black folks actually have equity, we actually have equality, we actually have freedom, and we're not still talking about the same type of oppression that we've been dealing with for years. Let's reimagine it differently. For ASALH, that's the work that we are about. We want people to practice daily small acts of resistance. It's what Cory Booker says. I'm not going to let my inability to do everything stop me from doing something. Everybody has to do something. You can't complain if you have no skin in the game. This is like spades. Everybody can sit on the side and play my hand. Until you're in the game, until you can make a book, until you can be a part of the process, then you can't complain. Get in the game, help us to resist this fascist government, and then we can all complain and celebrate together. Join ASALH at ASALH.org. Reach out to me personally. We want you. We need your energy. We need your wisdom. We need your time. This is not a time to lean out. Every single person must lean in because if you wait, by the time you lean in, it may be too late.
All right, that's ASALH, right?
.org. Yes, ASALH.org. Thank you so much, Barbara Arnwine. Thank you to all of the guests, especially to Senator Mitchell. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be with all of you. I look forward to seeing you on the battlefield and seeing you on the other side of this war.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. K.
And Daryl, both Senator Mitchell and Dr. K have walked us straight into July 17th, haven't they? Don't we want to make sure that everyone listening knows that this fight for democracy, this fight for our right to vote, that we're going to be lifting it up with a